Hello everyone. I want to talk about humans today. In my own understanding, my own thinking, in my own opinion, quote and unquote, I think humans are the single most exquisitive and exotic creation, creature, beings, not just on Earth, but in the entire universe, in all of creation. There is nothing as wonderful as no, as great as humans. Humans are the core of creation. Well, I have no grounds to make this claim since there are many beliefs in life. People, well, can I say, how world can you say such a thing? Animals all have essence as dogs and trees and other things. How can you say that human just because we will have a way, even as we human beings have a way of relating to ourselves, I assume other animals and possibly other forms of creation knows how to the word creation. Okay, yes, have a way of relating to themselves. From where I come from, they say there's a saying that when an animal itches, it goes to a tree to scratch itself. It has that intelligence. But human being, they can go to another human to scratch them. All right, that's beside the point. I'm saying that human beings, according to me, they are the single most greatest, most beautiful, exotic things on earth. Just not just on earth, but in the entire universe. And what grounds do I have to make this bogus assumption? It's not really bogus, it's very specific, it's very peculiar, it's direct assumption. It's not an assumption, it's very particular. What do I mean by that? I am a believer in God, and that this world and everything about it is created and also by God. And God Himself has made it very clear that He made man in His image and after His likeness. So there is nothing close to God. Although this video is not about being close to it, nothing close to God really as humans. But in this greatness and height of human, I also find human to be the most vile, the most corrupted, the most good for nothing, just like when you have the word damaged goods. There is one thing I found about milk. Milk is very essential, very nutritious, but when the milk is spoiled, the other is so poignant. It's so repugnant that I don't know what to quantify it with, just like when they have a dead flesh. It stinks, it rots. So I find human to be the worst of everything, beneath everything. So the most base of everything when they are corrupted. And how does a human get corrupt? A human gets corrupt when he loses his origin. That's the origin, I mean his state, when he loses his form. And what is the form of a human being? The form of a human being is the image and in the likeness of God. Whenever you as a human being begins to exude such characters or begin to imbibe them or really kind of leave them out, indulge in such things as God is not identified with, you become the least, not even the least, the most degenerate of every creation. All the creation, you become the worst of. You become the very least. Whenever you've been kind of like whatever, if it is by the devil that's alluding you to begin to practice things that is ungodly, or specifically God has ordered you not to because they are not like Him. Because the good Lord said, you must be perfect because your heavenly Father is perfect. Now, this is what I take from there. God that I know that made human in His image wants human to take after Him. Every law of God that God has given us for us to be just like He is. Because know that God made man in His image, and human beings are supposed to, not are supposed to also imitate God in many ways, in just about every way. That's why God has given us laws that are akin to Himself and His being, His attitude, His attributes. All those ones are already imbibed in us, and has enjoined us to live a life that that ultimately gives glory unto Him. This is it. Bible says, after having said that we should be holy in the book of Peter, because our Heavenly Father is holy, and Jesus Christ has also told us to be perfect because our Heavenly Father is perfect. Jesus Christ said, salt is good in the book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 13. But if a salt should lose its saltiness or savour, wherewith can it be salted? He said, this is good for nothing. This ultimately tells us our state as human beings. When you lose your core value, your image, that is the image of God in you. Whenever you turn against it, whenever you begin to corrupt it or let corruption imbibe you, you become nothing because there's no lesser. I mean, God cannot be altered. God is perfect. There is no less perfect God. When you begin to alter your image of God that is in you, you fall into no other category other than degenerate, and those are the ones that will be thrown into the outer darkness or into the lake of fire, because God does not have a fake. You cannot be a fake person on earth. So what is the message you're taking out of here? I mean, you're the best you can be in your form. That is the original form God has given you. But whenever you begin to imbibe such characters, such attributes, such behaviors as is not encouraged by God, as God is not known for, you become the worst that this life can ever know. But in your real state, in your original state, you're the best. There is nothing, be it the sun, be it the stars, all these things were made for man, really. Actually, because of man, if you know the Bible really in depth. Yeah, if there's no man, those things are actually meaningless. In your core, you are the best that you can ever be. So, my dear fellow, just know who you are and walk in light of what you are. You're the best that this world. In fact, you're more than you ever can know, at least in this lifetime. You will know that. That's why Jesus Christ said, "What will it profit a man that if he should gain the whole world and lose it?" So that means everything in this whole world cannot equate to the soul of one single person. I quote from the gospel I'm entrusted with. God bless you. I hope you get the message from today. You're the best, and do not try to alter your image of God, because if you do, you become the very worst. And God does not accommodate such, and God does not have like a lower version or a breed version or kind of like, no, there's no lukewarmism. Thank you.